The executive floor of Aurelia Tech was a world of glass walls, silent elevators, and million-dollar decisions made over espresso. Sophia Laurent, the company's CEO, walked those halls with precision and control. At 38, she had built her empire through discipline, logic, and an unshakable belief that numbers told the whole truth. Until one quiet janitor disrupted it. His name was Michael Reyes. Every morning before sunrise, Michael cleaned the offices with careful attention, never rushing, never cutting corners. He wore the same faded jacket, kept his head down, and always left a handwritten note on Sophia's desk. "Have a good day." She barely noticed him until the finance report crossed her desk. Sophia frowned at a line item flagged by accounting. Repeated payroll deductions tied to a single employee. Michael Reyes, janitor, single father, half his paycheck, donated. "Is this an error?" Sophia asked sharply. Her assistant shook her head. "No, he's been doing it for over 3 years. Same charity. Same amount." Sophia leaned back, unsettled. Half a paycheck meant rent decisions, skipped meals, sacrifice. No executive she knew would do that, certainly not someone earning minimum wage. Curiosity replaced indifference. That evening, Sophia stayed late and watched from her office as Michael finished his shift. He stopped at a photo taped inside his locker, a young boy smiling, arm around an even smaller child. She followed him at a distance as he exited the building and walked, not drove, to a bus stop. From there, he headed to a modest apartment building across town. Inside, through an open window, Sophia overheard laughter. A little girl ran to Michael. "Daddy!" He lifted her with tired arms, smiling like a man rich beyond measure. Later that night, Sophia made a call. The charity director explained everything. Michael's wife had died years earlier. The orphan he supported was his late wife's sister's child, left with no one. Michael had promised to help until the boy turned 18. Why didn't he ask for help? Sophia asked quietly. The answer cut deep. He said others needed it more. Sophia stared out at the city lights, something cracking in her chest. For the first time, numbers felt meaningless. And for the first time, she realized the janitor might be the most extraordinary person in her company. Sophia called Michael into her office the next morning. He stood near the door, cap in his hands, shoulders slightly hunched, bracing for bad news. People like him were usually summoned for mistakes, not questions. "Mr. Reyes," Sophia began, motioning for him to sit. "Do you know why you're here?" Michael shook his head. "No, ma'am. If I did something wrong—" "You didn't," she interrupted gently. "I want to talk about your donations." His face drained of color. "I can stop them," he said quickly. "I never meant to cause trouble. I just thought, if it was automatic, no one would notice." Sophia folded her hands. "You donate half your paycheck, why?" Michael was silent for a long moment. Then he looked down. "My wife believed no child should feel forgotten," he said softly. "After she passed, I couldn't save her, but I could keep her promise." He explained how the orphan boy lived across town, how the money covered school supplies and meals, how his own daughter never complained when things were tight. "She knows why we do it," he said. "She helps pack food sometimes." Sophia felt tears sting her eyes, something that hadn't happened in that office, ever. "You're struggling," she said. "Why not ask for help?" Michael met her gaze, calm but firm. "Because dignity matters, and someone always has it worse." The words landed like a verdict. That afternoon, Sophia cancelled meetings and walked through her own building for the first time, not as CEO but as a human being. She saw the cleaners, security guards, cafeteria workers, the invisible pillars of her empire. She made a decision. By evening, the board received an emergency memo, Aurelia Cares Initiative, living wages, education grants, matched charitable giving, starting with Michael's cause. The next day, Sophia surprised Michael again, this time at his apartment. She handed him a letter, a promotion, a salary adjustment, and full scholarship coverage for the orphan until adulthood, funded by the company. Michael's voice broke. "I didn't do this for recognition." "I know," Sophia replied. "That's why it matters." As she left, Sophia realized something irreversible had happened. She hadn't just rewarded kindness. She had been changed by it. The changes at Aurelia Tech spread faster than anyone expected. Within weeks, the Aurelia Cares initiative became more than a memo. It became a movement. Break rooms were renovated, wages adjusted, anonymous donation boards filled with names of employees giving what they could, inspired by one man who had given far more than was reasonable. Michael returned to work, but nothing felt the same. His uniform was new. His title read Facility Supervisor. Yet he still arrived early, still cleaned alongside his team, still left handwritten notes, now for everyone. One afternoon, Sophia watched from the glass balcony as Michael knelt beside a young intern who had dropped her files, helping her gather them with the same patience he'd always shown. That's when she understood leadership wasn't about being seen, it was about being felt. At the year-end company gathering, Sophia invited Michael on stage. The room fell silent as she shared his story. Not the numbers, not the charity, just the choice to give when it hurt. Michael stood there overwhelmed, his daughter sitting proudly in the front row beside the orphan he had supported for years. "They taught me what family means," Michael said simply. The applause didn't stop. Months later, the orphan graduated with honors. A scholarship waited. A future opened. And on a quiet Sunday morning, Sophia received a handwritten note on her desk. "Thank you for seeing us," she smiled. For the first time since founding her company, Sophia took a day off. She volunteered at the orphan center, working beside Michael and his children, sleeves rolled up, laughter replacing boardroom tension. The CEO and the janitor stood shoulder to shoulder, not equals in title, but equals in purpose. Years later, Sophia would say this was the moment her company truly became successful. Not when profits peaked, but when compassion became policy. Because sometimes the quietest people teach the loudest lessons, and sometimes the janitor shows the CEO how to lead.